Hey guys, Coach Adam from TeamElitePhysique.com talking to you again today with another bikini update. This is going to be a big update from the last few weeks. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. First off, I want to give my hats off to Jasmine Gonzalez, who's been very active after the Olympia, getting after it when she doesn't need to. She's already qualified. She is number 3 in the world. Every time she steps on stage, it's a risk of losing some momentum. If she doesn't win a show, it's like, oh wow, someone just beat number 3 in the world. And when she wins a show, it's like, well, she's number 3 in the world, she should win a show. So when these high level competitors start competing often and often, they're taking risks. And one of the bigger risks that they take is that they're going against competitors that are not going to usually be standing next to them. And so they're going to get a direct comparison with different judges. And that sometimes doesn't go in their favor. Not all judges judge the same way. You might have Olympia level judges at one show and some newer judges at another that happen to like this competitor's look a little bit better. So you take some big risks when you're doing that. So whenever these competitors, these top 5, top 10 competitors are going after it, you got to give them credit for it. And right now, Amy Delgado and Jazzy have been very, very active after this show. So after the Olympia. So Jazzy Gonzalez, number 3 in the world. She went at it. She got 2 shows. One of the shows she went up against Victoria, and we've talked about Victoria before. Victoria is number 15 in the world. She is coming out with some momentum since the Olympia. Remember, she only did 1 pro show before the Olympia, got to the Olympia, did top 15 at the Olympia, and she just absolutely crushed it. This is after a 2-year break. I've been saying that Victoria, keep your eyes on her because I do think she's going to be one of the stars that are coming out. So for her to go into a competition directly against someone who has this momentum coming up, that's going to be a future star that we keep talking about. Big risk for Jazzy. So congratulations to Jazzy and hats off for taking that risk. Now, I want to go into Victoria's physique. Victoria did Romania right after that show with Jazzy. And man, she has got an incredible physique. Now, one thing I will say on Victoria is her shoulders are a little bit big. She poses big in her shoulders, and her shoulders are a little big. I think that's going to be one of her things that she needs to bring down just to fit the bikini sizing just a little bit better. I know bikini sizing is going to vary quite a bit from person to person, but these shoulders are very shouldery. She's already has a wide clavicle. She's already big up top, and then she poses big up top, making it look even more extreme. So I do think for her to get to that next level in bikini, to get to that top 10 in bikini, I think she's absolutely capable of it. I think that she will be there, if not in 2026, maybe 2027. I think she'll be there, but she has to downsize her shoulders a little bit. In my opinion, of course, my opinion, they're going to allow shoulders to be a little bit bigger on some athletes and others based on their structure. She has a bigger structure, a wider clavicle base. She can have a little bit more shoulders, but a little bit more shoulders, not a lot more shoulders. And right now she is very shouldery. So that's the only critique I really have on her physique. Her posing routine is awesome. Her back pose is absolutely incredible. Some of the craziest glutes that we've seen out of a new competitor I guess I would say an up-and-coming competitor for a while here. So very, very good structure. Just has to watch that overall muscle density. In the back, I also would like to see a little bit more roundness to the hamstring, a little bit more fullness to the hamstring. You are getting some separation lines in those hamstrings, but honestly, there's not much to work on from the back. Now, with her winning Romania, that gives her an instant Olympia qualification. So she is on the list. She'll be at the Olympia again. Will we see her again, or will she be kind of fine-tuning her physique to the Olympia? I don't know. But I would love to see her a few more times. Now, when she competed against a competitor named Alina Bogacheva. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. I was very impressed with this Alina. Now, the problem with Alina was she was posing. Her posing was very, very much hurting her, I would say, in this Romania show. You could see, especially when you have someone that you're standing next to who's so muscular up top and so wide, and you see how narrow her shoulders are in her pose. They're not narrow in her actual physique, but in her posing, she's posing really profile, posing really we call bladed, where her shoulders are just very angled, and she should be opening up her shoulders quite a bit more to create that illusion and kind of hang a little bit better with Victoria, because she is just really getting dwarfed in the shoulders. Now, it's one of those things where Victoria is a little bit too big in the shoulders, so you could be a little bit bigger in your shoulders, maybe be the biggest that you ever have been in your posing, and you're still going to be smaller, but at least you're closer in comparison. So that'd be the one thing I would say. I'd say her posing could use some work if she's going to be competing at the top level and working her way up. But getting second at Romania, beating last year's champion. That is no joke. And looking at her from the backside is crazy good. I was so surprised with how good she was from the back. These girls in Romania on the glute shots were insane. I mean, really the top 4 were like just crazy in the glutes in Romania. So, and you expect that out of these tier 1 shows where it's an instant Olympia qualification. But look at the backside on Alina. And this is my first seeing Alina at a top position like this, my first time really looking at her physique. And I was very, very impressed. But you could see it from the back pose. Look at how wide her shoulders are. Look at that shoulder base. And then from the front pose, she's just not displaying it right. And that's just one of those things. You girls have to get practice with that posing and really go to those posing seminars and get that posing practice in. This would be a good time to tell you, we do have a posing seminar coming up here at Colt Fitness in December. So if you guys are out here in Vegas or want to make a trip out to Vegas, I'd love to see you. It's absolutely free, hosted at Colt Fitness. Take a look at my Instagram, teamelitephysique.com for more details. I'm sorry, Team Elite Physique on Instagram for more details. Now, going into the other crusher who decided to compete, got to give a shout out to Amy Delgado, who's competed in 3 pro shows since the Olympia. She got 4th at the Olympia, ends up doing 3 pro shows and then winning all 3 of them. And everyone's like, oh, okay, whatever, big deal. A top 5 in the world competitor wins 3 pro shows, big deal, right? Of course, she should win those 3 pro shows. No, it is a big deal because 1, she's taking a risk. 2, if you look at the lineup of shows that she went at, oh my gosh, I can't believe how deep this show was at the Iron Games that she won. This show was crazy. I was like, what's going on at this show? I had Tiana in this show too. And I was like, man, we really picked a doozy for this one. But the Iron Games show, it had Amy Delgado, Evie Escandar, Tara Greer, Savannah Watchman, and Tiana Weymouth, which all of them were Olympia competitors. And number 4th place, Megan DiGinto. This is my first seeing of Megan DiGinto. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. And I was very, very impressed with her overall physique. Not just overall impressed with her physique, but impressed that she's actually a natural competitor hanging in the open division. And very impressive. One of the most, actually the most impressive natural bikini physique I've ever seen. I was very, very surprised. Going into it, I also want to go into showing how tough it is going to be this season with these shows. You know, we have Evie Escandar, who actually just did really good at the Olympia. She ended up getting 7th place at the Olympia. She's done 2 pro shows and has gotten 2nd in both of them. Now, this is someone who's top 10 in the world getting 2nd in these shows. She ended up losing a battle to Maria Acasta, and she also lost to Amy. So we have someone like at the quality level of Evie not qualified for the Olympia after doing 2 shows. That's how tough this year is going to be. So let's go ahead and take a look at Evie and look at her compared to Maria and why she may have lost this one. Now, this is going to be a very apples to oranges kind of comparison when we look at Maria and we look at Evie. Now, Evie brings this ultra tight conditioning in her core. I do think that Evie wins from the front pose. I actually don't see, I don't really see a way that she would lose from the front pose unless Evie's hurting herself from being overly tight in the core. But they like Evie that way, and that's one of those things. You'll see these 2 physiques, and they're very different. Maria brings a lot softer of a physique in the core, more of a round, softer, fuller look. Evie brings a drier, harder look. They both do very well with this look, and that's what the judges have kind of decided that fits them best. You know, that's why they bring this look. And that's why when you see Bikini, it's a little confusing sometimes. You're like, well, how could these 2 be in the same even division when one is shredded and one is kind of a softer fullness to her? And when we look at the core on Maria, I mean, it's definitely way softer than Evie's, and it's also a little bit thicker than Evie's too because of that softness. And honestly, I think just her structure is going to be a little bit wider in the core, but she offsets it with having a wider shoulder base too. Now, with a real competition with these 2, because I do think that Evie beats her from the front, unless Evie beats herself by being too hard. In this scenario, I think it's just that Evie actually wins from the front and Maria wins from the back. That's honestly what I think here. And when we look at from the backside, Maria is very, very full in the backside. Now, Evie has a great level of fullness as well. I don't think that there's any issue with the level of fullness that Evie has, but she's a little bit shredded in the hamstrings. And that's one of the things. You could be a little bit more shredded from the front in bikini, but being shredded in the back, when you're starting to see those hamstring separation lines, that is something that the judges look for. They're going to be like, you're a little too lean when you're starting to show those hamstring shreds and that hamstring separation lines. I don't know if that's what it came down to, especially with how they like Evie, because they do like her lean. I'll say that her glutes are really full and dense, but Maria's are a little bit fuller in the glutes, and her hamstrings look a little bit more along the lines of what they want to see in bikini without as much separation. Now, Maria has some separation too, but not as much, and her tie-ins are fully in without showing that kind of that density details. From the back, I do think Maria wins. From the front, I think Evie wins. It's one of those front-back competitions. Maria ends up winning these days, and usually that's how it goes. They say bikini's won from the back. Not always, but in this scenario, I could see them going that direction. It's an apples and oranges kind of scenario. I love Evie's look, and I know for sure she'll be at the Olympia again this year. Where is she going to qualify? We shall see. But right now, she's in the point. She's not in the needs to win 2 shows to get to the Olympia yet. Now, moving on again, back to Iron Games. Okay, so we had the Iron Games where Amy won, Evie got second, and Tara got third. Megan was a name I didn't see coming. Okay, so Megan DeGinto, hope I'm saying her name right, was someone. And now remember, Megan is beating 2 Olympians. She's beating Savannah Watchman and she's beating Tiana Weymouth, which is pretty crazy because we haven't seen Megan for a while. So how I have heard about the story is that Megan is a natural competitor who took 2 years off to grow so she can hang in the open division. Now, looking at Megan, I would say when I first saw her, I was like, oh, okay, she used to be a natural competitor because this physique is way too good to be a natural physique. I am incorrect. She is actually a natural competitor. And I was like, wow, she's still natural? And they were like, yeah, she took 2 years off to build her physique up to be at the standard of today's bikini, which makes sense because that's pretty much what it would take to be able to hang in today's bikini world. 2-3 years pushing it naturally and getting to that same level of fullness and density and detail. And that's the hard thing about being a natural competitor. You're going to need you're going to have great genetics, first off. You're going to be of the top 1% of genetics to be able to compete in bikini naturally these days. You're going to need to be able to take a couple years off to really build your physique. And the hard part isn't really building the muscle to be a competitor in today's bikini world as a natural competitor. It's keeping the muscle while being the same level of lean, while having that same level of density all at the same time. Because getting that lean will generally cost you some muscle and cost you some density when you're dieting down to get as lean as we need bikini competitors to be today. So having natural bikini competitors in the open division is a pretty rare thing. And usually you see a significant difference in the competitors that are natural and then the open competitors, right? So with her, when I first saw her, I was like, oh, she must just be, not be natural anymore. And no, she is actually natural. And I was like, wow, she's going to be the best natural bikini competitor I've ever seen. So is she the best natural bikini competitor I've ever seen? And the answer to that, which was solidified this weekend, is absolutely yes. She beat out Lana Dunbar, who was the reigning defending Ben Weider natural champion bikini competitor. And that is essentially, if you want to look at the Olympia for natural competitors, that is basically the Olympia natural for bikini competitors. It's like the world championship best natural bikini physiques out there are going to be at that show. So this is really the world championship for natural athletes. Now, when we look at last year, Lana won it last year, and that's how she got to the Olympia. I believe she won it the year before as well. When we look at Megan is on another level. When you look at him from the backside, that's where it really becomes obvious. Megan has glutes that are super dense, super full, super round. The tie-in's fully there. The hamstring's there without the separation line. The shoulders are really round. And you can look at her waistline from the front and you compare it to Lana's too. It is just, it's an amazing natural physique. She beats Lana, I believe, with a perfect score. This is the best natural bikini physique I think we've ever seen. So congratulations to Megan. And honestly, awesome job at taking natural bikini to the next level. I don't think, and I would say including myself, that I even thought a natural bikini physique could get this far. This is the highest level natural bikini physique I've ever seen. So it's really great for all of you natural competitors out there. You know, this is probably what it's going to take, though, having crazy genetics, crazy work ethic, and, you know, 2 years of off seasons to grow into those, to be able to hang with those natural competitor, or to hang with the open competitors. But this just shows that you can do it. Now, most bikini athletes that, you know, maybe don't have this type of genetics have just decided to, hey, I'm going to go and do fit model. It makes more sense for me to do fit model because I'm not going to be able to build, or I don't want to take off 2-3 years of off season to be able to hang in the open division. But this just shows you, hey, if you really want to go for that route, you can. You're just going to need to have a lot of time off, crazy genetics, and crazy work ethic to really hang. So just wanted to say congratulations to her. Congratulations, she got to the Olympia. This show does qualify her for the Olympia. With it only being November and the Olympia being in September now, she's going to have even more time to grow into the Olympia, which she's probably going to need to do. That's going to be the thing about being a natural competitor, is you're not going to be able to compete as often, because if you're dieting all year without any assistance, it's going to be really hard for you to keep that level of fullness throughout the whole year. So going into that, we're going to add her name to the Olympia qualified list. Her name is not on this list yet. Right now it is Sunday. They'll add that to Monday or Tuesday. But when we look at who's on the list right now, Jordan Brennan, Maureen Blanquisco, Ashlyn Little, Jasmine Gonzalez, Isa Pacini, Wu B, Amy, of course, and Victoria, who just got added, Maria Acasta, who just got added. And we have, look at the tie for 14th place, or 14 points. We have Alice Rocha, Patricia Vaccaro, Anna Setlak, Bruna Tojo, Alina Bogacheva. Okay, so we have 5 people tied for 14 points. The points race is going to be crazy this year, guys. Keep an eye on it, because it's going to come down to the end for some competitors. You know, some people are getting a lead, but it's going to take a lot more than 18 points, I think, to get you to the Olympia this year. That's my guess. I'm not sure. We haven't had a points race in a long time, but that's where the fun's going to be. Seeing the points race and who's at number 24 and who's at number 27 and who's gonna get a couple more points this year to get qualified to the Olympia at the end. It is going to be an exciting year. So we shall see how that ends up. But right now we have quite the race and quite the fun year planned ahead. We got some more shows coming up. I will be in California soon at a show. We're going to see Ashley come back, do a couple shows. She's just signed her contracts. We're going to see quite a few athletes still that have to qualify for the Olympia coming back in. This is going to be an incredible year. So guys, please leave it in the comments below if you want me to cover anything. Look forward to seeing you all at the posing seminar at Cult Fitness in December. As always, teamelitephysique.com for worldwide online contest prep with me. And I'll talk to you guys next time.